So, great start to the month as far as monthly, great start to the month, to the third quarter, guys. This is the beginning of something special as far as what we can see going on in the market. All you have to do is make sure that you're taking advantage of it. So, what we're going to do tonight is go over market recap, go over the trade that I called out that played out perfectly yesterday or today. It played out perfectly today, and then also give you sauce as far as tomorrow what you could expect or something you could look at for a possible trade. All right, so with that, let's go over to the charts and let's get it going. So right here, let me make sure I get on the right thing right here. All right, so let me get off of that right there. So today we did two trades that worked out perfect for us. We did Dell, which we did 60% on Dell to the upside. Saw the break of Dell, was looking for a reversal on Dell. Saw the break to the upside. This is not necessarily, some people would say it's a doji, right? Because you have that, but saw the break to the upside. Was looking for more of a push to go all the way back up to 72. It didn't happen today. That's why I tell people, like, when you're trading options, you have to make sure you take your profit because not every time it's going to hit your take profit right away. So in a sense, you want to make sure that you take your profit, right? You could scale out, you could hold runners if you choose to, but at the end of the day, you need to take profit. So with this, we took 60%, 65%, sorry, on that today. Now, what I saw on on Dell was we saw the break of the day, right? And what I loved about that is that it came down close to where it's not there anymore, but it came down close to a resistance line, I believe, or a support line earlier. I think it was showing like the 50 or something, but where it bounced on was a good area. Plus, what I saw was right here, it almost closed the gap, right? And I think that's what I was looking at. It almost closed the gap because when it first opened up, it was like we saw the pop up, but it didn't break. It came down and then starting to push down, but it almost came to where it closed the gap. And then I wanted to wait for the first 15 minute to end, which we got in on this 15 minute right here because I saw the break of here. My target was first at the 200. So once we got in on the break, we popped up. We was in a little bit of profit right there, but we didn't get the full thing until afterwards with the push up. Once we saw the push up right here, that's when we took our profit. We hit that 200, hit the 200, and then pushed past that a little bit, and we took profit of 65% on options. Now the spreads could be crazy on some of these, so that's why when you're looking at trades, make sure that you're looking at spreads as well. I talked about Cisco yesterday for a trade, which if you took that trade, you would have been profitable if you took that trade on Cisco today, right? I told everyone on this, look for the break of the day, and it broke the day to the upside. And then if you look, it pushed all the way up here. So a $79 call would be good, which I told everyone, hey, look for $79 calls. Pushed up, it would have gave you the profit that you need as far as that. I did not take this trade though. The reason why I did not take this trade is because of the spreads. So if they wanted, like on my live, before I call a trade, even though if the trade looks good, the setup is right, I always look at the spreads. Now at open, the spreads was a little bit too crazy for me, especially with a stock like this. The spreads was like 20, 21 or 25 and 53. Those spreads was almost 30. So if you buy a contract like that, you might be like down 20% going into that trade. So with that, I did not do it. I waited and I jumped into a different trade instead. But this, if you had took this trade would have made you money regardless. I just wasn't looking at it. Once I saw the spreads was crazy, I just left it alone. But if you notice right here on the 15 minute pushed up right on the break right there, and it just pushed up right here, which would you would have been in and out of that trade within 15 minutes. But once I saw that break, I think if you even look at it from a smaller time frame, I saw the break right out the gate, and I was like, nah, I'm not taking this because of the spreads. The spreads was just too ugly. So with that, I did not take the trade, but the trade still worked out to be If you took the trade, let me know in the description, right? Or in not in the district in the description, but in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you took this trade. Or guys, if I'm giving value, just go ahead and drop it as well. Make sure you're subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, if I'm dropping value, just go ahead, subscribe. I'm going to make sure that I'm dropping more value as we go. So with this, that was the trade that I called out yesterday, as far as a possible trade that you guys could look at. So today we traded Dell and we also traded MU. Now with MU, let me go right here. Right here, yeah, MU. So with MU, um, saw the break. Now with MU dropped significantly as well, guys. So the reason why I took MU is because Micron is because it dropped significantly. So I know that we have to pull back. Plus, if you look at the monthly we were pulling back. I expected us to come up to the VWAP right here and possibly reject to continue down, because again we're in a bearish move, but we can consolidate for the next month on this, right? We can consolidate for the next month and stay within this range right here. So on the weekly setting up perfect. If we close something like this, I probably will be looking for a upwards movement back up to the VWAP on the weekly, which is at what 390, which what's it on the monthly, right at 390 as well, 386. So there's some upwards movement there that can continue if the weekly ends like this. But today I saw it set up on the 15-minute candle. I knew that we should move up and I was targeting the 200, but I got out the trade a little bit early, right? I got out the trade a little bit early. I saw the change on it and I just didn't like what QQQ was doing. So I just completely get out this trade at the time. So once I saw the break right here, I noticed that we opened above VWAP. So once we saw the break right here and the break of the high, I got in calls. So did calls, write it up. If you notice on, this trade literally took us about 5 minutes to to get into, and it took 35% on this trade. This trade ended up running for what, a crazy like 100 and something percent, because if you notice it kept going, right? So this trade did over 100%. If you look in our Discord, you will see someone that people that took way more percent than us did over 100% on that trade. Crazy enough, they joined 3 hours before the live session. So they just started off of TikTok, because I go live on TikTok as well. And they literally signed up for our live trading. They only tested out for a week and they came in and they made 1270 within just 30 minutes of trading. So right here, we took the trade right on this break right here on the 5 minute and we pushed up, and this is where I got out. Once we start pushing up on this 5 minute, we saw the pull back on the 5 and I just got out right there because I didn't want to give back anything to the market. Plus, I saw QQQ was pulling back and I didn't like how QQQ was, what it was doing at the time. So I ended up getting out the trade, but it continued pushed up and it did hit, however, it did hit that target eventually, which is the 200 that I was targeting, right? So great trade overall, 32% within a 5 minute time frame. Can't complain about that. I'll always say profit is profits. You can't laugh or can't be mad if you take 30% on a trade. Yeah, you could have made a lot more, but you still made money. So go ahead, be happy with that and say, all right, you know what? There's always an opportunity to make more money. Now, what could you look at as far as possible trade tomorrow or just what I'm seeing? Now, I wasn't even going to think about saying this, but because I just look at Cisco, I had a different one, so I might be giving you guys two potential trades, right? So Cisco right now is in a trend, right? And I mentioned this, we're in an uptrend based on right here. So we're in an uptrend based on Cisco, but this candle showed me that we can come back down. We're below VWAP. It closed below VWAP. And with this, a break of this low right here can trigger more puts. Remember, we broke the weekly already to come down. We already hit the target on the week, but we still can drop back down. Okay, we still can drop back down depending on the news tomorrow. We have unemployment tomorrow. So with unemployment, we can expect, if unemployment is bad, if the news come out and it's not good, then we could see a drop in the market tomorrow. So right, hold on, Friday 3rd. Why is it showing? I thought the market. So anyway, tomorrow, right here, you have unemployment for tomorrow, right? So with tomorrow, this is going to create some type of change in the market depending on that number tomorrow, right? So whatever that number come out as, we can see a shift in the market, which if the numbers come out bad, we could see Cisco drop back down. And on the daily, Cisco is set up for puts right now. So if we break below that 77.81, we could expect or look for puts coming back down to the low, or try to come back down and test this level right here for puts. Now, that's just on that side. I just saw this. I wasn't even going to give you guys this, but this is just extra, right? The one that I'm really looking at for tomorrow is SPY. And SPY did what it was supposed to do as far as target for today. I looked at SPY, but again, because I only trade 3 times for the day, I don't care what happens. If I have 2 great trades going out, I'm not gonna force a third trade, right? 3 trades is my max. That's how I do it going forward in any scenario. Yes, could I trade 4 times and make 4 wins? Yes, but I can also trade and mess up as well, right? So while you're at it, don't over trade. There's a limit to what people will trade. If you want to trade 5 times for the day, great. But when you over trade, you will end up giving money back to the market. So today, I only trade 2 times, knowing that 3 is my max. I give a call out on QQQ, but I didn't get in it because I got right into MU at the same time. So I didn't get into that one, but that one was also profitable. And you could, I think people posted about QQQ in our chat as well. So for SPY tomorrow, great rejection as far as what I saw. We came up to the 200 and we reject that 200. Now we're also below the VWAP. We closed below that pivot line, right? So what we're looking for tomorrow, again, if numbers comes out bad, then you're gonna see most likely a gap down. Now I don't want it to gap down because I don't play gaps. Anytime I see gaps, I don't like trading it. So for instance, today I don't like trading SPY because of the gap ups, right? But what I would like to see, if it gap and it doesn't break that day low, and it's within this range right here as far as close and the day low at 53, which is most likely not going to happen if the numbers are bad. We're going to gap down, right? Because we have a couple gaps to the downside to fill, right? We have a gap right here that need to fill. So we have that gap right there. We also have a gap down here at the bottom that needs to fill, right? So we still have gaps, and we have a bunch of gaps. This is just one of many gaps that needs to be filled. Now, does gaps have to be filled right away? No, they don't, right? On a daily time frame, they don't. Gaps do not have to fill on a daily time frame right away. It can take weeks. It can take even months sometimes for gaps to fill, right? But on a smaller time frame, the smaller the time frame, the quicker those gaps will close. Okay, so just pay attention to those. Now, tomorrow, if we break this day low, there's a gap that needs to be filled at 50, at 650. That's a psych level, so we can bounce from there. But remember, we are bearish. We're in a bearish season, okay? So no matter what, we are bearish. We already broke the week to the downside, okay? We already broke the week to the downside. So with that, we could continue down. I told everyone that the new 3 month, the new quarter, the new month was about to start. So with that, you're going to have a push back or a pullback before we continue down, which is what we're seeing right now. We saw that pullback in the last couple of days on SPY. We saw the pullback as well on the 3 month. Okay, so even though we have this huge drop from what, 695 all the way down to 629. That's a huge drop right there, right? But we can consolidate within this range, just like I mentioned before on MU. We can consolidate within this range for the next 3 months. If we, however, break this low right here, we're going to continue down to 615 and possibly right down to 600 at that point, because that's going to be the next cycle level as well. So pay attention to those. So for tomorrow, I will be looking at SPY for puts. If SPY breaks above, I would not do calls on SPY tomorrow unless SPY breaks above the 200. Okay, meaning that if it opens up tomorrow a little bit and then come up here and test this 200, I wouldn't be looking at SPY tomorrow for calls at all. That's just me. I would have to see the break and close above the 200, and then I'll start looking for calls. Remember, if you look at the 3 month, 3 month can come all the way back up. Okay, we can come all the way back up on the 3 month. We can come all the way back up on the month as well, and says VWAP up here. So it's not impossible for us to continue up before we drop again. We can come all the way up to VWAP, which is at 672. Once we hit 672, we can reject off of that and come all the way back down and break back down to the downside, right? We're always going to play what the chart gives us. I don't care if we're in a bearish season or a bullish season. We're always going to find plays. We're always going to find opportunities within the day for us to make money. So never be biased towards a trade. If it doesn't work, or if it doesn't show you the trade, if it doesn't give you the setup, then don't take it. But tomorrow, I'm looking at SPY for potential puts back to the downside if we break that day low. And I'm looking at Cisco. If Cisco breaks to the low side, I will be looking at those as well. But with Cisco, just pay attention, guys, because the spreads on Cisco might be bad. Okay, I didn't trade it today because the spreads was horrible. I am not going to let anyone take the trade. I won't get into the trade to begin with. So I'll call them and be like, hey, the spreads are bad. I'm not getting in this trade. If you want to take it, go ahead by all means. But I'm not taking the trade because of the spreads are bad. So I make you know that before anything. So if the spreads are bad on Cisco, I won't be taking a trade on Cisco. But SPY never had bad spreads. So with that, I will be looking at potential puts on SPY. Everything has good setup for puts tomorrow, to be honest with you. QQQ is the same thing. IWM is the same thing. So I'm looking for puts on the most part for tomorrow. So all I'm saying is just trade safely. Remember, don't chase. Don't fall for FOMO. There's always opportunities in the market. So while there's opportunities in the market, just be safe and follow your setup. All right. So with that, I'll see you guys tomorrow.